Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at SOFI. It is time for another update, and today we will be exploring the possibility of having formed a more significant top here within the wave 3, what to watch out for possible continuation to the upside, and the larger support zone that will provide us quite a great opportunity for a very nice trade. Now, before we get there, I would like to present quickly the larger time frame in which we have two scenarios, and in both of them, within this internal structure to the upside, we are expecting to form an identical structure, which means we have quite some confluence between the scenarios that we are tracking, at least in this area. This is an area of a higher likelihood to work out than what would normally be on the rest of the chart. Now, in the white scenario, we are tracking a possible impulse that would be forming, and we have a 3-1-2 setups that have formed in this area, and then this would be the third wave unfolding right now, where we can track a possible impulse that would be developing in this area. Then we have also the yellow interpretation that would instead be tracking a leading diagonal, a larger leading diagonal, where in the wave 1 we had an ABC structure, we had an ABC structure in the wave 2, and we are tracking an ABC structure in the third wave to the upside. Now, the difference between those two scenarios, of at least in terms of what we could track in this pattern to the upside, is that in the wave C we could be tracking an ending diagonal to be forming where the internal structures would be ABC patterns. Okay, that could be the case, but it wouldn't differ too much. We would need only to allow for a deeper retracement at this point within a follow-up correction on this slightly larger time frame. Now, internally within this structure, we have been tracking an impulse within both interpretations, within both scenarios, and within this third wave, this internal wave 3, we have been tracking it as a 1, 2, 3, fourth and the fifth wave that would be developing in this area, where we actually had quite a significant extension here within the wave 5 to the upside, and we have been tracking it as an ending diagonal as well, where we had an ABC pattern in a wave 1, ABC pattern in a wave 2, ABC pattern in a wave 3, and then as well the fourth, we had already completed it as well, and that is what we were tracking in the fifth wave to develop as well. Now, since we may have formed the top, we pushed higher, and we do have a possible count, we need to explore the possibility of further extensions, but with a high warning sign that there may be a significant top and we may be heading into quite a large correction afterwards in a wave 4. And in that case, actually let me remove those again. In that case, I would be watching out for a support zone area for the larger wave 4 at the levels between the $26 level all the way down to, and let me grab the right one, all the way down to the $20.4 level at the 50% retracement. And after we form a bottom here in a wave 4, we can expect quite a significant additional extension in a follow-up wave 5 to the upside to new all-time highs. Now, as I was mentioning, there is no confirmation at this point that we have topped. We don't yet have even a clear 5-wave structure to the downside here in the shorter time frame, and we will be exploring such a possibility. We do seem to be heading towards that idea, but right now within the shorter time frame, in the previous video I have provided you some ideas of how this pattern could develop to the upside. Now, it didn't unfold in that manner, and it doesn't really matter. The main idea is that we may have a full count. It is possible for me to consider this a full ABC, completing the larger fifth waves and the larger wave 3, but I do also have to consider the possibility of this being just an A wave up. We may have here a wave B down and still see a wave C to the upside, and in that case I would need to watch out for an additional support zone here. And let's see, in the area between the $29.4 level all the way down to the $26 level. Now, I'm not trying to predict what will happen. I'm trying to track a roadmap of what scenarios we can be tracking depending on which support zones and which support zones we react to and which counts are more likely. Now, this is a more generic support zone that I will be tracking, and if we manage to fall below the 78.6% retracement, it is most likely that we have topped, okay, and we will be tracking possibly a much deeper retracement, a much deeper correction here within the wave 4. Then another possibility still to continue directly higher within this fifth wave to the upside would be that instead of considering this a triangle here in a wave B, in an A, B, C, D, E, okay, a contracting triangle, I could consider it a more simpler WXY pattern that could have developed, and then I could be tracking a wave C to the upside in this area, where this would be a wave 1, a wave 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave that would still need to unfold. It would be within an ending diagonal, and in that case I would need to watch out for support. And let's use the green interpretation in this case, but I would be watching out for support in the area between the $31 level all the way down to the $28.6 level instead. So we are already quite deep within the retracement in this area, and yeah, we even peaked below the support zone already. And yeah, there is no guarantee that this will hold. At this point, I would still allow it. I would need a sustained break below the 61.8% retracement to confirm that it is not going to play out. But as long as we hold this low, especially, I could still be watching out for a possible ABC pattern in a direct fifth wave to the upside instead of a larger pattern here that could still unfold. And let me actually track this within not even the white. Let's use the blue interpretation. And yeah, in that case, we won't even be looking for a larger correction here in a wave B, and then a 5-wave structure, another one in a wave C to the upside. Yeah, we would be looking directly for an A, B, C, and B, probably considering a top, a more likely top to have been formed at that point. But yeah, as I was saying, this support zone, yeah, it is already towards the end of its life. It is hanging by a thread, and it can still work out. In fact, it is not even the worst trade idea. It is not a high probability trade setup, but it is at the bottom of the support zone, and you know that if we fall and sustain below the 61.8% retracement, this is probably not going to work out. There still is a chance within the blue scenario, but that one again is probably even less likely of a general scenario than what we have here in green, where we are at the bottom of the support zone. And yeah, we may still find a relief rally afterwards, but who knows if we will actually manage to find a more significant additional higher high. Now, within this movement to the downside, there isn't much to be tracking at this point. I could consider a 1, 2, 3 possibly complete and be looking for resistance here in a wave 4, and in that case I would be watching out for, let's see, in fact this is a wave 4, but that would be between the area at $29 all the way up to the $30.3 level. And yeah, as long as we stay below that level, there is still a high likelihood that we may continue directly lower in a fifth wave. And if we form such a 5-wave structure to the downside, there is an extremely high risk that it could be either a wave 1 or a larger wave A, but then we would have a high probability of a correction in a wave 2 and then a third wave or a wave C to take us much lower to the downside. So I would be extremely cautious, and I will be watching out for this resistance area for this additional 4-5 pattern, because yeah, if it is unfolding in this way, we need to be watching out for a 1-2 setup, a bearish 1-2 setup, and then a possible third wave to the downside. That could indicate that yeah, it is less likely to find support within these other interpretations. It will depend. We will need to be tracking the structure closely, but it is a warning sign that we will get at least another low after a retracement. Yeah, we get a retracement, we get likely another low. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.